The microchip has got a substance that can be released to achieve exactly that.
Despite the wonderful FDA stamp of approval, the microchips can cause cancerous tumors, and that by receiving one, you place yourself in a government database, therefore removing all sense of privacy.
This is an agenda from Satan, the devil, and he will use his agents led by the Antichrist, the first beast, and the false prophet, the second beast, to perpetuate this.
Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
No matter who you meet, if you say 666, all of a sudden, they know what you're talking about.
To receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
That means you're not going to be able to fly an airplane. You're not going to be able to enter a federal building. You won't be able to drive a car. You won't be able to open a bank account. And you are not going to be able to hold a job. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved the injection of this chip under the skin. The technology is in place. It is happening right now. It's very important that all of us understand the mark of the beast is not a possibility. It is an absolute certainty. You and I are going to face it. Make sure your name is in the Lamb's Book of Life.
Implantable human chips. Supporters hail the technology as a medical marvel, but critics warn that the potential risks are real.
Well, they talked about, for example, electrical hazards. This thing is by no means inert. The way it works is it actually picks up and amplifies ambient electromagnetic energy from the reader devices. And if you have one of these things in your arm and you get within range of a powerful electromagnetic field, it can actually burn you.
It can actually burn you.
Oh, and by the way, it can kill you if you get out of line. A closer look at the who and the why behind this idea.
All right, this next story may sound like something out of, well, a Hollywood thriller. A Saudi inventor has created a killer microchip. It's designed to track terrorists and criminals and, well, you can think of somebody. Not only does it include a GPS device, it also has a lethal dose of cyanide, which can be activated at any time. You get my point? The inventor's bid for a patent has been rejected in Germany. Joining us now this morning to talk about it, Jake Ward, deputy editor of Popular Science. Okay, this is pretty macabre, pretty sinister and nefarious. How exactly would this work?
Well, there's a category of technology that involves GPS tracking systems being shrunk down to the size where you could actually implant it surgically. And we've seen a number of applications for this. This is without question the most sinister version of it that I've certainly heard of. You know, and the notion of tracking criminals is not new, but the notion of killing them remotely, I think, is a whole new thing.
Yeah, and Germany says, look, we're not going to approve this.
That's
because for that very purpose. And apparently, in some of the paperwork and applying for the patent, you know, you could track fugitives from justice, terrorists, illegal immigrants, criminals, political opponents, defectors, and Saudi Arabians who don't return home from pilgrimage. It's a little bit wild.
I agree.
Well, terrorist groups might be interested. I'm sure they'd be happy to grant their own form of a patent for that.
Sure.
The bigger world, though, of GPS, talk to us about how it's being used to, for example, track sex offenders?
Sure. The Washington State Legislature right now is considering the possibility of registering perhaps 100 sex offenders with a GPS chip that's implanted in their shoulder because they found that a few of them have been wearing them on their wrists and then have cut them off, which just defeats the purpose. And so, but the larger world of this technology is actually pretty happy stuff. I mean, there is new technology for tracking Alzheimer's patients, who
may wander away.
Right.
Sure.
Tracking the vital signs of professional athletes from the sideline. There's been a couple of cases in which football players have collapsed of heat exhaustion, and seeing the early warning signs of that. There's technology that sort of allows you to do that remotely. Even something as benign as keeping track of your dog. A radio frequency tag implanted in your pet. The vet finds a stray, scans it, and finds its rightful owner in an instant.
Yeah. Do you see an explosion of the use of GPS devices? And obviously a lot of people are concerned about an intrusion of privacy.
Absolutely, sure. I mean, I think that there is a trade-off there, and obviously the inventor who filed for this patent has gone across the line in terms of privacy. But the use of GPS in the future will allow you to, you'll never lose your wallet again. You'll never lose your keys again. It's that kind of stuff where you're going to, you'll be able to beep any object you own, and find it in the house. And so, there's the vicious expression, and then there's the really, really helpful expression that I think we'll see in the future.
Is it possible that you could download information into one of these chips? And stop me if this is silly, and give somebody instant knowledge with neurons right here.
And at the University of Southern California, Theodore Berger has shown that brain cells called neurons can grow onto microchips and communicate with them.
But the capability exists for building computer chips that act just like nerve cells, and we're developing the capability for interfacing those computer chips with the brain.
And Ray Kurzweil sees a day when microscopic computers will make all kinds of learning as easy as downloading.
If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, and in the presence of the Lamb.